Good morning, children, and welcome to your social science class. Today, I will be taking a civics topic. Previously, I was taking geography topics, so I thought I should change and we'll take a civics topic. And the civics topic, which I'm going to take today, is also very interesting, informative, and you all should have the knowledge of that topic. Okay, the topic I'm going to take today is the United Nations. The United Nations and its working. Okay, now, children, I want to tell you that it is very important to know the background or the circumstances that led to the formation of the UN. When I'm saying UN, it means I'm speaking about the United Nations. The world saw the two world wars in the first half of the 20th century. First World War 1914 to 18 and the Second World War 1939 to 1945. Now, the League of First, before United Nations, the League of Nations was formed in 1920. But League of Nations was not able to stop, we can say, war or check the wars in the long run. So it was renamed officially as the United Nations. So this is the background of the United Nations. What is that? That previously League of Nations was formed in 1920 after the First World War 1914 to 1918 was the First World War, and in 1920 the League of Nations was formed. It's an organization after the First World War, but it could not succeed in checking war in the long run, and it was renamed United Nations, okay, organizations after the World War, Second World War. Now I'm going to share screen with you all, then you will enjoy this topic more. Okay, come on, let's switch over to our screen. This is the symbol of United Nations. Can you see this? This is the symbol of United Nations. So what we are going to study, the United Nations, and then after that, it's working. Okay? Now, see the symbol? You can see continents are made over here. Okay? Now, we are starting with the part which I explained to you. It is very important to know the background or the circumstances that led to the formation of the United Nations. Very necessary that how it was formed at that time. The world saw the two world wars. First World War 1914 to 1918 and the Second World War 1939 to 1945. Two world wars, 1914 to 1918, you should know the years. And the Second World War, 1939 to 45. Now, the League of Nations, an organization formed in 1920 after the First World War, could not succeed in checking war in the long run. Though it was formed after World War I in 1920, but it was not able to check the wars in the long run, and that's why Second World War took place. Okay, that's why Second World War took place. Now, so it was renamed officially as the United Nations Organization after the Second World War. So League of Nations was only renamed United Nations Organization after which war? Second World War. After the First World War, it was League of Nations. League of Nations. And after the Second World War, this organization, that is the League of Nations, was renamed the United Nations Organizations. Is it clear? Now, these wars are called world wars because world has taken part in the war. Why world war? Because of the involvement of many countries and their resources. And their resources. Battles were fought in all parts of the world, on land, air, water. Navy, Air Force, Land Army, all were used during these wars, and this affected the whole world. The Second World War was fought between the Axis powers Italy, Germany, and Japan. Second World War, you should know there were two groups. The Second World War was fought between the Axis powers Italy, Germany, and Japan, and the Allies Britain, France, USA, USSR. And the Allies Britain, France, USA, USSR. Okay, two groups. One was France, Britain, USA, USSR. So during World War II, USSR was friendly with USA. And now they both are against. They are not so friendly what they were after the World War II. So two groups were there. Axis group, that was Italy, Germany, and Japan. And second is the Allies, Britain, France, USA, USSR. Now, the destruction caused by the Second World War once again compelled the world powers to form an organizations to stop war. That's why this United Nations organization was renamed. Lot of destruction was there in Japan also, Hiroshima and Nagasaki. It compelled the world powers. Compelled means it forced the world powers to form an organization to stop war. It compelled, it forced the world powers to form an organization to stop wars. So two groups, one was Axis, that was Italy, Germany, and Japan, and the other was Allies, Britain, France, USA, and USSR. So you all should remember, first of all, these years. First World War, 1914 to 18, 1939 to 1945. Everything should be clear. 1914 to 1918, 1939 to 1945. The League of Nations was formed in 1920 after the First World War, and it was renamed the United Nations Organization after World War II. Now, why these wars are called world wars? Because they involve many countries and their resources. Battles were fought all over the world, all parts of the world, on land, air, water. And these wars affected the whole world. Whole world was affected. The Second World War was fought between the Axis powers, Italy, Germany, Japan, and the Allies. Now, do you know what are ally or allies? It is a state formally cooperating or united with others for a special purpose by a treaty. Means they are cooperating or they are united for a special purpose, for a special purpose or by a treaty. England, France, USA, etc. cooperated to check Hitler. Why they cooperated? To check Hitler, to check his powers, because he was a dictator. Okay? So, allies, the state formally cooperating or united with the others for a special purpose by a treaty. They sign a treaty and they join together for a common purpose. Why they join? To check Hitler's. They join to check Hitler. Now see, you are starting with the United Nations. The term United Nations was originally used in 1942 for those who united against the Axis powers in the Second World War. So the term United Nations was originally used in 1942 for those who united against the Axis powers in the Second World War. Later, the term was used for the International Peacekeeping Organization. Previously, it was used for those who united against the Axis powers in the Second World War. Getting my point? Later, the term was used for the International Peacekeeping Organization. For International Peacekeeping Organization, this term was used. And this peacekeeping organization came into existence on 24th October 1945 under the name of the United Nations Organizations, that is UNO. Its headquarters is in New York City. So, previously, the term United Nations was used in 1942 for those who united against the Axis powers, who were against the Axis power in the Second World War. Later, the term was used for the International Peacekeeping Organization. This peacekeeping organization came into existence on 24th October 1945 under the name of the United Nations Organization, that is UNO. Its headquarters is where? In New York City. So headquarters of UNO is where? In New York City. Okay? Existence when United Nations Organization came into existence? 24th October 1945. Just see. Headquarters. 24th October is celebrated as UN Day every year. 24th October is celebrated as what? As UN Day every year. So we can ask you this question, that when is the UN Day celebrated? So what should be answer? 24th October is celebrated as UN Day every year. Okay, so you all should remember these things, that when it is celebrated. See the building? Is it clear? 24th October, United Nations headquarters are where? They are in the New York City. They are in the New York City. So headquarters of UNO is where? In the New York City. When we are celebrating UN Day? on 24th October. So UNO headquarters are in New York. You all should remember, children, you have to remember. We all also studied the same thing what you are studying. So what you are studying, please pay attention. These things will be same. UN Day is to be celebrated on 24th October every year. Only the headquarters can change with the passage of time, but all this is same what we studied, same you are studying. The name of the secretaries, they only change. Now, the name United Nations was coined by Franklin D. Roosevelt, the President of United States. Who? The name United Nations was coined by whom? By Franklin D. Roosevelt, the President of United States. Now, question can be here, who coined the name United Nations? The answer is Franklin D. Roosevelt, the President of United States. So children, when you are studying this chapter, please pay attention what we are telling to you. I said the name United Nations was coined by whom? Was coined by Franklin D. Roosevelt, the President of United States. Originally, the UN Charter was signed by 50 members. Originally, the UN Charter was signed by 50 members. India was one of them. India was one of them. Presently, it has 194 countries as its members. Presently, it has 194 countries as its members. So, originally, it was signed by how many members? 10, 20, 30, 40, 50. 50 members. And India was one of them. So originally it had 50 members when this UN Charter was signed, and presently it has 194 countries as its members. Okay. Now we will be studying about the organs of the United Nations. How many organs? 6 organs. The United Nations has 6 organs that perform different functions. The United Nations has 6 organs that perform different functions. So this is also should be very clear. How many organs? How many organs is UN having? UN has 6 organs that perform different functions. Now, first is General Assembly, Security Council, Secretariat, Economic and Social Council, International Court of Justice, and Trusteeship Council. 6 are there. General Assembly, Security Council, Secretariat, the Economic and Social Councils, Trusteeship Council, and International Court of Justice. So, the United Nations has 6 organs that have different functions. First, the General Assembly works like a world parliament. Just see, General Assembly meeting hall. It works like a world parliament. It works like a world parliament. Means the parliament of world. You have seen Parliament House of India. You have seen in the news now. You have seen Lok Sabha House, lower house. They're sitting like this only. Then Speaker of Lok Sabha addresses the gathering. Who is the Speaker of Lok Sabha? You all should know this very well. Who is the Speaker of Lok Sabha? Honorable Shri Om Birla. Now, second, the Security Council is the most powerful organ. Most powerful organs, its decisions are final and all the members have to follow. all the members have to follow them. So the Security Council is the most powerful organ. Its decisions are final and all the members have to follow them. Okay? Now, two we have discussed. First is General Assembly. It works like a world parliament. Security Council, the most powerful organ. So you all should know this, that the most powerful organ of the UN is what? Security Council. Why? Because its decisions are final and all the members have to follow them. And all the members have to follow them. Okay? So which is the most powerful organ? At once it should strike your mind. The Security Council is the most powerful organ. Why? Because its decisions are final and all the members have to follow them. So two I have discussed. General Assembly works as world parliament, and then Security Council, the most powerful organ. And its decisions are final and all the members have to follow them. Okay. Now comes the Secretariat is the executive branch. Next is the Secretariat is the executive branch and takes care of the programs and policies. Programs and policies. So it is which branch? It is the executive branch and takes care of the programs and policies. The Secretary General is the head of the Secretariat and the spokesperson of the UN. Who is the head? The Secretary General is the head of the Secretariat and the spokesperson of the UN. So executive branch is Secretariat and it takes care of the programs and policies. The Secretary General is the head of the Secretary and the spokesperson of the UN. So third is we have discussed. Now fourth is the Economic and Social Council. The Economic and Social Council recommends actions on international issues like medicines, educations, economics, and social needs. So the Economic and the Social Councils recommends actions on international issues like medicines, educations, economic, and social needs. Okay. So what is Economic and Social Council recommending? It is recommending actions on international issues like medicine, education, economic and social needs. Fifth point is the International Court of Justice. The International Court of Justice is the world court. As the General Assembly is the world parliament, similarly, the International Court of Justice is the world court. International ICJ, International Court of Justice is the world court and the General Assembly is the world parliament. Means General Assembly works like a world parliament. Similarly, the International Court of Justice is the world court. See children, when you compare and learn the topic becomes very interesting. General Assembly, world parliament. International Court of Justice, world court. This court deals with the cases brought by the nations against each other, from one nation to the other nation. So it is ICJ, that is International Court of Justice. So dealing with what? It's not dealing with the cases of our own inside the country. No, it deals with the cases brought by the nations from one country to another country. Between the countries, if any issue is there, then we go to International Court of Justice for getting justice and getting our problem solved. So by the nations against each other, if any cases are there, so they will go to International Court of Justice. Last one, 6 point is the Trusteeship Council. The Trusteeship Council was established to look into the transition of colonies towards independence. The Trusteeship Council was established to look into the transition of colonies towards independence. These colonies were there in the Britishers, that they are moving towards independence or not. They used to look at how the colonies are moving towards independence. Okay, now see, I've shown you here one image. International Court of Justice is having a center at Hague. Okay, International Court of Justice is having a center at Hague. Getting my point? Where? Hague. Now, UN also has also set up various agencies. What we studied just now, they are the 6 organs. They are the 6 organs. Now, UN is having various agencies which perform different functions. Example, UNICEF, WHO, FAO, ILO, UNESCO. So UNICEF, WHO, FAO, ILO and UNESCO. Main principles. Okay. Organs, we are having 6. General Assembly, Security Council, Secretariat, the Economic and Social Council, the International Court of Justice, the Trusteeship Council. They are what? They are the organs. And these are the agencies which perform different functions. For example, UNICEF, WHO, FAO, ILO, and UNESCO. Now, maintenance of peace and security in the world. Maintenance of peace and security in the world is the main aim of the United Nations. What is the most important aim? That is maintenance of peace and security in the world is the main aim of the United Nations. The principles are all member countries should respect the sovereignty and integrity of each other. All members countries should respect the sovereignty and integrity of each nation. Threat to peace and use of force should be avoided. Threat means when we frighten something, when we are bossing, no, you have to do this. So threat to peace and use of force. Forcibly you are taking something that is wrong. You can't put pressure or force. Should be avoided. These are the principles of United Nations. Peaceful means should be used to settle disputes or disagreements. Excuse me. They must take an active part in UN related activities. Peaceful means should be used to settle disputes or disagreements. They must take active part in UN related activities. So first of all, we should all respect the sovereignty means freedom and integrity of each other. Threat to peace and use of force should be avoided. Peaceful means should be used to settle disputes or disagreements, and they must take an active part in the UN related objectives. Now, what are the main objectives of the UN? That's the main thing. That what are the main objectives of the UN? First of all, to maintain peace and security and settle disputes by peaceful means. To maintain peace and security and settle disputes by peaceful means. Second is to promote friendly relations among the nations. What it wants that the nations should be friendly with each other. Okay, to promote friendly, excuse me, to promote friendly relations among the nations, to remove poverty and unemployment, to promote respect for human rights. Okay, we were discussing this one, to promote friendly relations among the nations, to remove poverty and unemployment, to promote respect for human rights. We have to respect the human rights. We have to remove the poverty and unemployment. And the last one is to improve the living standards of the people. To improve the living standards of the people. It has its own constitution. It has its own constitution and its own flag. Okay, UN is having its own constitution and its own flag. What do you see in the flag of the UN? Can you see this? It has a world map surrounded by olive branches with a light blue background. Now, what does olive branches symbolizes? Olive branches symbolizes peace. So main objectives, first is maintain peace and security and settle disputes by peaceful means. Then second is promote friendly relations among nations and remove poverty and inequality, to respect human rights, to improve the living standards of the people, as it is having its own constitution and its own flag. Now, what do you see in the flag of the UN? The world map is surrounded by olive branches. The world map is surrounded by olive branches, and olive branches symbolizes peace. Okay, children? So what we studied about United Nations. We have studied about its organs. How many organs? 6 organs were there. Then we studied about the main objectives of the UN. So everyone wants to establish peace in the world. And UN wants that each and every dispute should be settled with peaceful means, and everyone should work for removing poverty and unemployment, and all the disputes should be settled in a peaceful manner. We should respect human rights, and we should work for improving the living standard of the people. United Nations flag is having what? World map surrounded by the olive branches with the light blue in color. What is the meaning of the olive branch? What does it symbolizes? Olive branches symbolizes peace. You all should know this, that olive branches in the UN flag symbolizes peace. Okay, children, we'll continue with this chapter tomorrow. Hope you all might have enjoyed. Children, please read the chapter properly while watching the video and try to understand it. I've tried my level best to make you clear each and everything by sharing the screen. Just go through it, children, because this is very important, and what I studied, you are studying the same thing. Only few changes can be there of any head of any department of any organ, but it is the same, and it is an important chapter for you all from information point of view. Now I'll take leave from you all. Now you all take care, stay safe, and be happy.